This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Racial consultants are standing by. Caller 9844999. Ola will play Profile this in minutes. And we do have your headlines on the way 1 hour from now. First, quick check into Mike Hawk for some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
All right, there's a tool on Merriam-Webster's website where you put in your birth year, and it shows you what words were used for the first time.
It's pretty cool.
Sexy.
You've used it.
The year I was born, the word sexy.
Yep, as soon as
Had to
I
be.
saw it on there.
They didn't know how to describe me.
So what was your word then, Miles?
Oh, just based on the time, those Agent Orange.
Oh, lucky you.
Chimichanga.
Oh, okay.
Weird stuff like that I didn't think.
The chimichanga.
You love chimichanga.
I do. And Agent Orange, it's not so much, but maybe in a strain of weed.
Doesn't chimichanga sound like some kind of martial art? Back up, mother ever, I know chimichanga.
Man, when you take that burrito, though, and you throw it in the deep fryer, you have just made me happy.
Isn't that the American standard?
Yeah.
Deep fry it.
Right, exactly, man.
Pickles, you name it. Deep fry it, we love it.
Where could you do that at, Mike?
Merriam-Webster.
All right.
A teenager in Houston recently saw a woman in a wheelchair sitting in the sun while she waited for a bus with a wheelchair lift. So he grabbed an umbrella from his car and shaded her with it for almost 2 hours until her bus got there.
You know why? Where was it again?
This was in Houston.
That's because everything Steve tells you, it's so hot there.
Dude,
Oh, man, it's
you
incredibly
cannot
hot.
imagine how, especially right now, right? And it's not even quote unquote summer yet. It is. I had an aunt over Easter. She came to visit, and I want to say it was nice to me. It was like 55, 60 degrees, kind of sunny outside. In my mind, it worked out. She's like, "Oh, baby, I'm cold. I'm cold." So, well, how hot can it possibly be right now? It was April 1st was Easter. It's like, "Oh, baby, it was 92 degrees when I flew out."
And like an 80% humidity, too.
Right.
And that was a cool...
That's normal
That was
to
a
them.
cool 92.
It's like,
Yeah.
you crazy.
A man in Virginia was reported missing last month by his wife, and eventually the cops found him after a massive manhunt. But he kept changing the story of what happened, and it turned out that he had faked the kidnapping so that he could run away with his mistress.
All right.
I see what you did there.
He's now facing charges of lying to federal authorities.
Did he lie? Well, I guess he faked it.
He lied many times.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I got kidnapped by a biker gang. Yeah, I did this. Like, yeah, I did. All of a sudden, he's like, okay, it's fun to run away with my mistress. My bad.
I mean, just run away with her.
Right.
All right, that's all you got to do.
Right,
You're running away.
Leave her a note if you want to, but yeah, just take off.
Yeah, like, I mean, I know.
That's right,
I know
kids.
divorce is terrible, but like, it's probably better than what he has to go through
Where did
now.
Dad go? All Dad's in Florida.
Speaking of Florida, a woman...
Dad's on a farm.
You know, with the dog.
A woman in Florida wanted to cuddle with her boyfriend last week, but it was 88 degrees out, and she said it was too hot. Rather, he said it was too hot, so she attacked him and trashed her house. She was arrested for domestic battery.
Oh, wasn't that like Misty Christie Mud? Or
It was
Mandy
Misty.
Candy?
It was Misty Christie.
Was it Misty Christie Mud?
Yeah,
Misty Christie.
I will say this: hearing that story again, like, it sounds like she could use a cuddle or a hug.
Yeah.
She sounds a little high strung.
But it is 88, man, and it's
I'm with
Florida.
you.
So keep in mind, it's 88 degrees. That's air temperature. You add the humidity, you know it feels like 100 degrees.
I bet Misty Christie's got that Florida sticky going on.
Oh, yeah, sticky, Misty Christie.
Hasbro just announced that it has successfully trademarked the smell of Play-Doh. They describe the smell as, quote, sweet, slightly musky, vanilla-like fragrance with a slight overtones of cherry and the natural smell of a salted, wheat-based dough.
And they have officially crushed my dream that everything will smell like Play. Who the hell was saying, like, hey, man, there's a threat that someone's going to mimic our stink?
Yeah, like Play-Doh has a unique smell, but I've never heard anybody trying to mimic it.
Like, yes,
Right.
There's a lot of smells that are unique to it, and people go, if I could recreate it, I would. Play-Doh has never come up.
Is this just Play-Doh coming back to relevance?
Dude, don't listen.
Has it left?
Let me explain some things to you that I have learned in the last 7 years. No, it has not.
Okay.
And the moment you have kids, all of these things that you think they just don't play with anymore, dude, all of that Play-Doh. Believe me when I tell you Legos.
Legos. Yeah.
My son's better. I'm not making this up. So he had a birthday recently. Everyone bought him different Lego sets. Each one of these Lego sets has, on average, 350 to 400 pieces. In spite of saying, hey, don't open all of them, we'll do them one at a time, this was not heard. I opened his bedroom door the other morning, looked at all the pieces, including bottom. Man, it looked like Syria got bombed.
Oh,
I mean, it was a disaster. He got a quick talking to. I know it amounted to nothing, but Legos and believe me, I have Play-Doh stuck in my carpet in different places around the home, Mike.
Has he left the little bucket of Play-Doh open yet and had it all dry out?
Are you kidding? That's all they do. That's all they do. If you buy Play-Doh, just know the Play-Doh you bought, have the backup.
According to a new survey, almost 2 out of 3 moms say they've threatened to ban their kid from playing Fortnite as a punishment.
Yeah.
Right?
I still don't know much about it other than kids.
Have you played it?
Yeah. It's basically...
Killing things, right?
Yeah, it's a Hunger Games style game.
Oh, okay.
Really?
The problem is there's you could take it with you wherever you go.
Yeah, sure.
So besides just playing at home, there's you can play it on your phone too. It's not the same.
I haven't seen that version, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I was hanging out with some teenagers the other day.
Are people still doing the...
They are the people
surprised.
to ask.
Are people still doing
My
the
buddy's
Pokemon?
sons.
The Pokemon Go? Oh, yeah.
They are?
Yeah, they had a community day.
Are they still playing it?
Oh, yeah. They had a community day just this weekend. And
did you join?
I might have been driving by the area. And
Oh,
I
just
saw,
randomly.
And I
Right,
saw a herd of people.
Oh, no, you went.
Were you in the play?
How
Pokemon
was it?
Moving on.
How was it? There really is. There are people, and they meet together when they
Oh,
do.
man, it's huge. There had to have been 60 people just wandering up and down my street within 3 hours.
Huh.
And,
I see them-
they kept on.
So they really
flowing
were
in.
just, you weren't there. They just happened to be there.
No, I was there.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So you were walking up and down someone else's.
Yeah, pretty much.
I see them downtown sometimes, but it doesn't seem nearly as prevalent as it once was.
Well, no, when it first launched, everyone was doing it. So it was like this weird, I don't know, people looked aimless, just kind of wandering through the city.
Starbucks just announced a new policy to try and avoid any more embarrassing situations and bad press. Anyone is allowed to sit in a Starbucks or use their bathroom even if they don't buy anything.
Yeah, you guys have not figured this out.
Just fix the problem.
I mean,
Do it.
that is not what the problem is.
I got a problem with them. The other day, I got a coffee, and they put Teddy. I said, man, I don't know you from back in the day. Take that other D and Y off my name.
That ain't my name, man. Right? 25% of Americans in a new survey said they'd spend 21 to 24 hours a day indoors, but that's actually true for way more than 25% of us.
Well, you sleep, so you figure if you don't live in a tent, then automatically, you got
the
8
guys-
hours in your house.
But 21 to 24, I mean, inmates get more time outside than that.
Right?
Well, most people, right? You're going to get up in a home, get ready, hop in a car, drive
Go
to
to
work.
work, maybe leave for half an hour for lunch or an hour, get right back to work.
And that's if you go somewhere.
you come home and you start all over again.
You need to pick up smoking. You're outside all the time.
Yeah.
A first grader in Florida accidentally started a fire in a bathroom at his school last Friday while trying to change the color of his mood ring.
Oh, boy.
How the hell did that happen?
I'm guessing the color changed.
Aren't they temperature?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
it's all
okay.
temperature,
All right.
sure.
In North Carolina, a semi-truck was stopped by police and found to be carrying an alarming amount of meth in the gas tank.
What's
You mean the
what's
truck's
alarming
gas
amount?
tank, right?
Say what now?
The truck's gas tank.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
had many
It
stories
was-
about
it was liquid-
your personal gas
It was
tank.
liquid meth in a side gas tank. So they
And I'll tell you all about it 1 hour from now.
Oh, okay, I see. Thank you, Mike Hawk. Headlines are coming up 1 hour from now. First, the game is
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Stephen Thrill can you please tell everyone how Thrill Profile This is played?
A short K of Miles, it's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes a story a story. Hello, Tony. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hey guys.
Hola! All right, Tony, you understand how this here game is played?
All right.
Is that a yes? You do know how this game is played.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right, fantastic.
Tony, we're not the
Son.
cops. We're not the cops, Tony.
Yeah. All right. Here's your story. Now we go to Stockton, California, where police say employees managed to stop a man who tried to rob the CVS pharmacy early Sunday morning. A mad suspect armed with a knife held up employees at the CVS. As the suspect began to walk out with around $2,500 from the register, employees tackled him and restrained him. Side note, don't mess with CVS. Now, once officers arrived, much like the Scooby-Doo kids, they took off the suspect's ski mask and revealed his identity, a 24-year-old man who once worked at the store as a loss prevention officer. Let that sink in. So this is a former loss prevention officer, just tried to rob CVS with $2,500. Now, his car was found in the parking lot with a fake license plate, and the vehicle identification number was hidden with duct tape. Well, he was arrested on suspicion of armed robbery. Do you believe that this enterprising genius is black, white, Mexi, or Asian?
I'm gonna go with Mexi.
Going Mexi?
Yep.
Why's that?
What do you guys think?
Where was it at?
It was in Stockton, California.
Man, I don't know.
There's not a lot of clues to go on here.
I mean, it's really not. I mean, this is just the story.
You're a loss prevention officer. You know the ins and outs of the place.
The only thing he didn't count. The only thing he did not know about this operation was that the employees there ain't taking it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what it seems like he would have known if he went back to the store he worked at. That
that particular group of employees is not. They're not playing that.
And if they got one who used to be like a track star or a wrestler or a linebacker, maybe I don't pick that day to go in there and rob the place.
Keep in mind, they just jumped his ass.
And for some reason, drugs. You said it was CVS, right?
CVS, yes.
Yeah, drugstores are a different, like, mixed bag of people. Like, I feel like I have an image of like what fast food or restaurants. I'm like,
sure.
Drugstores, I don't know, man.
Well, it didn't help that it came in with only a knife. Because, like, once you turn your back, it's lights out, right? You have to understand that. You just threaten someone with a knife. As soon as you turn your back, they're going to end it.
But he had a ski mask, huh?
Right.
Ski mask. That's a weird one.
A knife is Mexi, so.
Hey, I mean, the only thing I know about Stockton is that the Diaz brothers are from there.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about it.
Yeah, I'm not even positive. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it seems like a tough neighborhood, again, based on Nick and Nate Diaz.
Right, I was going to say, the people that I have met or I found out are from Stockton, I generally come to the same conclusion. Like,
was Mexi one of the choices?
Yes.
Tony doesn't sound like you're going to change your answer. You want to stick with that final answer?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with it.
All right, man, we're going to find out if he was black, white, Mexican, or Asian next.
That was a tease.
You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
We're in Stockton, California.
Thought he could run.
It was sick.
On profile this.
Get that extra bone.
And a man who tried to rob a CVS pharmacy. Employees tackled him, took a ski mask off. Turns out he was a former loss prevention officer at said CVS.
And we asked you, did you believe he was black, white, Mexican, or Asian? You started with Mexi, you stuck with Mexi, nothing ever wavered. You are correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box,
Armageddon.
The Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Oftentimes in here, we will talk about inside the NBA. Now, I wouldn't say, I don't know. I don't know that I would say any of us are like massive NBA fans.
No.
But we all agree inside the NBA is pretty funny.
Sure.
They do a good job there and stuff.
It's the best.
Right, as far as network, like studio shows go. So, Charles Barkley, a couple weeks ago, Golden State Warriors obviously are in the playoffs, doing pretty well. Reigning champs and just dominate because they have all the players. Mm-hmm. So Draymond Green is one of those players. Draymond Green has gotten in kind of stuff. He's a very annoying player on the court to other teams, right? Like there was a period there where it seemed like he was kicking people and this and that.
On the Jimmy. He was a Jimmy kicker for years.
Right. So Charles Barkley,
he was a Jimmy kicker.
A while ago,
puncher, slapper.
He said he wanted to punch Draymond Green, right? So then Draymond Green kind of like called him out and was like, that's not really cool. Draymond Green's mom even got onto social media and was like, you shouldn't talk about punching my son, this and that. So Barkley had to go and apologize, this and that. Now, the Warriors are still in there. Kevin Durant, what's up, PG County? Kevin Durant, one of his teammates, he's on the set. Charles Barkley asks him a question, and Kevin Durant cuts to the quick, and it's kind of awkward.
Is Draymond Green as annoying in person as he is on television?
Annoying who?
You should go talk to him downstairs.
Yeah, he ain't gonna do it.
Is he annoying? I mean, you're around him every day. He's annoying on television.
What annoys you about Draymond?
He gonna apologize to him.
Yeah, I mean, he downstairs. You can go ask him.
Go ask him, man.
Hey,
I just liked it twice. He goes, he's downstairs. Go ask him.
Yeah.
You can watch that clip. It'll give you the whole saga of Barkley and Draymond Green. Also,
Barkley is not in fighting shape.
I was just going to say, the Men's Room Facebook page. Barkley, right. It was a tough dude back in the day, but exactly. What is Charles Barkley? Is he 60?
Probably about that, I would
55,
guess. Right?
Probably 60 years. But he's 100 pounds overweight.
Either way, he's not going to get in a fight with Draymond Green.
No chance.
And Draymond Green, he's a big dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's like one of their big guys.
Yeah.
You don't pick the biggest guy on the team and go like, all right, I've been out of the league for 20 years. I'm going to beat his ass.
Well, he didn't say that. He said, I want to punch him. And look, there's a lot of people that kick my ass. Like, yeah, I want to punch you. Yes, you would beat my ass in 3 seconds. I didn't say I could take you. I said I want to punch you because you annoy me. But look, there's no question about how this would go. I'd punch you. My life would end.
I do like that Durant didn't even, said it twice. They obviously have talked about it in the locker room.
Sure.
So, and to be honest with you, the Warriors are so freaking good. They have to just kind of laugh about stuff like this. I think one of the best quotes I heard over the weekend, in the Rockets were just getting throttled by the Warriors, right? And I forget who the announcer was, and he just went, the bottom line is this, they have Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, and the Rockets don't.
It's that easy.
They have, James Harden. One thing I will say about just the style of basketball, which is kind of ironic, that's how Green plays. Green plays the way Barkley used to play.
Mm-hmm.
It's physical.
You're noisy.
You're not the biggest guy in there, but you make your presence known, and you play very physical, and not everyone's going to like you based on that physicality, but it's kind of strange where you'd say, I like this guy because he reminds me of what I had to do when I played. Instead, he's like, I hate him. Well, wait a minute. I get that you don't like the guy. But at the same time, it's kind of ironic that he plays the same way you did.
Yeah, but I think for the majority of people, you would look at that and see the younger guy and go, oh, man, he plays like I play. But I don't think that's Barkley. I think it's more of he's exactly who I was, so I don't like him.
Put that up.
Right? What's the old joke? Sometimes people, the person they dislike the most is most like them or whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
Or I always talk about years ago, I was hanging out with some people, and this one girl kept going on and on about this coworker she hated. And when the coworker showed up, it was a spitting image of her.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, you guys are the same chick.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Luckily for me, they were both hot. So I was like, I hope you guys fight.
She called you a bitch.
Yeah. You better fight it out, ladies. Kind of crazy. All right, now we're going to go to Texas.
Let's go to Texas.
We're going to go to Texas.
Come on down to Texas.
This is kind of an insane story. Basically, there's a couple. The neighbor thinks that Judgment Day is. He believes that the couple believes Judgment Day is coming. Okay, so they've been handing out money. They've been doing this and that, and they burned down their house and left out the house naked.
It was definitely a breaking point for them. They were very good people, very warm people, very helpful people. They went and sold every one of their personal belongings, went to the park, and literally was handing out $100 bills to people that they seemed fit needed it. I think they were ready for a new start. I think they really believed that today was Judgment Day. I could do nothing more than turn my head because it was shocking as hell. I've seen a lot of wild, crazy things in my life, and bar none, they hit the top 3 list. Really like to push for everyone to pray for them. They were good, honest people.
There was News 12 down in Texas.
They're still around, right? They're just poor now, and they've given all their stuff away, or are they no longer around?
No. The house was on fire. They run out naked.
Oh.
They're still around. Here's my question. What has this man seen?
Right.
His neighbors were basically going crazy for 2 weeks.
Top 3, you mean?
Burned their own home and ran out naked. He goes, I can assure you, that's made the top 3 of things I have seen. Top 3. What goes on in Texas?
Yeah. You know what? I tend to believe this guy.
That's the problem.
Right.
I believe you. This is maybe 3.
This is top 5 right here.
He said top 3 means he thought of 2 other things that are at least equally as crazy. He hadn't sorted it all out yet, so let's stick with it, number 3.
Yeah, and I bet number 1 is something ridiculous. I live in Texas and they gave me a small.
Saw a white girl with a big butt.
If he said, dude, I was in Afghanistan a couple times, you'd be like, okay.
And this tops it all.
Yeah.
No, but it's Texas. He's got to say something like, I saw a wild boar, helping an antelope. What?
They had a baby together. Called it a hogalope. Damnedest thing you ever seen.
And I'll be honest,
mighty tasty.
I'm scared for the whole neighborhood. This guy,
man.
He's doing the interview, and granted, it's Texas, it's hotter, but he's doing the interview in a sleeveless shirt. You can imagine.
Oh, it's the Texas way.
Kind of like the tall beanpole kind of looking dude.
Yeah, but now how do you justify it? Now you have no house. You've given away all your money. You burned your house to the ground. And
you got nothing to justify.
Now
we get it.
Now it's Tuesday. What do you do? Uh-oh.
Yeah. Why, they did mention in the report, too, that the drug test has not come back.
Oh, yet. PCP.
I feel pretty confident, right? Same thing.
Naked PCP.
Well, yeah, it's got to be at least meth. It just seems like a methy area.
You got to be hot.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
The whole thing was kind of amazing. Let's see. Did anybody watch the royal wedding?
Negative.
No.
All right. Miles, I made fun of you a lot about you being excited for it.
Yes, even though I really wasn't, but
You really weren't?
I wanted to see if I could just build on I thought it needed a little hype. You know what I mean? It didn't seem to be getting any coverage, so I figured,
you barely heard about it.
If I jump on this, man, maybe other people will want to watch too.
So
I think you did well for them.
Thank you.
They should thank you.
Kind of like we were talking about with Charles Barkley. Sometimes you see things, right? So maybe I was projecting because maybe I was drumming up some interest in myself for it. The answer is yes, and I loved it. And I don't even like weddings, regular weddings. But for some reason, there was a pregame show. I got fired up.
Well, how come most weddings don't have pregame shows? Maybe that would help with weddings.
It really would.
You got 3 people at a booth. There's television cameras. Like, I told Ronnie, man, I don't know how the hell he pulled this off, but he better not F this up. Like they just do.
It just warm us up
play
a little
by
bit.
play, and like, oh, we're bringing in Aunt Catherine. I remember when he took a crap one time. Get everybody just throw it all out there, and then get married.
I mean, that's basically what the pregame coverage kind of was.
Right.
Was people just going like, hey, look. I'll tell you how my morning went. It was like, holy cow, there's Idris Elba. Or like, holy cow, there's Oprah. I felt like a little kid. And they did walk in together, if anybody saw that. But Gayle King caught a lot of heat. She works for CBS News. She's also very close friends with Oprah. She was beyond annoying on their pregame coverage, to the point people were wondering if the other guy was okay. Was he going to be allowed to talk? So here's just a little of Gayle, and it's too much.
Hello, I'm Gayle King of CBS This Morning. I just have one big goosebump all over my body. I'm going to change hats every hour on the hour. We just saw James Blunt go, and he does that song, You're Beautiful. That's all I'm going to sing of that. I feel like crying. Oh, my gosh. This is actually very good and very moist. You're beautiful. Oh, yes. Do you know that?
Of course I do.
I won't sing anymore. You're beautiful. I love that song. Pippa got a lot of attention because everyone was raving about her bottom, and I thought, is that a big bottom? I don't think so. But she got a lot of attention for her bottom that people thought was perfection. I guess that's a matter of opinion. I've seen some big bottoms. I didn't think that was one, but okay.
Right. So Kevin Frazier barely speaks. Literally to the point, and keep in mind, I'm drunk. It's 3 a.m, and I was like, I cannot take this woman. I got to turn this off. There's plenty of other channels. But the one theory that I've come up with is, isn't she the one that was always with Oprah?
Yeah. For years. They were best friends. They're still best friends.
And she was nervously, I think she was just kind of pissed she didn't get to go.
Oh, to the wedding?
Oh. I just did the math in my head. Oprah showed up alone. She made a big point of saying, I don't even know who that man is with Oprah. Because it was just some dude kind of ushering Oprah in. I don't know. Now, we had talked about Will Ferrell doing some of the coverage.
Yes.
That stuff was very funny in snippets. That's a long 2 hours they had to kind of fill just improvising, which was, at best.
All right.
They were great on the late night shows. I did not watch any of this. But just listen to these two women, all right? This is Natalie Morales and Kit Hoover. They're from Access Hollywood, and I like their style because listen to the amounts of clinging of glasses, and they got wasted.
The big royal wedding in this town of Windsor has never been more electric.
It is buzzing. Not only is it buzzing, we're buzzing.
Oh, God.
All right, what a whirlwind week it has been. We have been all over London, all over Windsor.
It's been very magical. We're joined now by our royal wedding guest correspondents, Phoebe Robinson.
Cheers.
Welcome back. And the great Brit, Tim Vincent.
Bottoms up.
Cheers.
Because we need to do this more often. My favorite part, Prince Harry's pub. Chug, 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 chug. Champagne doesn't go down easy on the chug.
I will say, Tim, what a treat to be with all of you. For you and I to be away on the road. It is quite something.
So nice to have Phoebe and King Kier, too. Great work.
We got to go back to where it started, Nat.
Prince Harry's pub.
We're on
We're
our
heading there next.
Fire it
Stay
up.
tuned. Wait, I'm plugged in.
Get the elevator.
That's the table you sit by when you go out to dinner. And you're like, oh, Christ, will they shut up?
And then people say, because at some point, I have to say something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like ukulele guy. Listen, man.
Volume.
You know what I mean? I want you to have a good time. I want you to have fun, but I also don't want to be arrested for homicide. So, right? Because that's where we're all going. You're going to have fun, and I'm going to kill you. So let's just figure it out. See, this is part of the problem with something. I do not care about the royal family. I do not care about the wedding. That said, I wish them the best. I wish them luck. All that stuff. I don't care, right? Part of the problem, I think, with all the coverage of it, people that enjoy it, I got no problem. You want to watch it? Watch it. Whatever. I just can't imagine. To me, sitting through a wedding is already boring, but I would rather sit through some long-ass wedding like I'm sure they had. And again, I know nothing about it. I just assume it was long. Than listen to that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather have gotten 1 hour of sleep and drank 3 bottles of Jack Daniels, have to sit in the front row and do that struggle to keep your head up and your eyes open, that struggle that we've all been in, right? I would rather do that at a boring-ass wedding I don't want to be at than have to listen to that kind of just weird, garbled coverage crap. How do they get paid to do that?
Well,
I mean, Christ, you literally can put anybody there to do that.
I gotta tell you that, like, I didn't watch any of the actual physical wedding. I watched the one priest from the States, because he was cool.
The bishop?
Yeah, and then I went, or bishop, thank you. But then I went to bed. Honestly, like, well, granted, I was kind of up late at night. I just thought it was cool, the amount of people you see there. And there was just some very interesting, like, combinations of people. Like giant rugby stars, Beckham's there. And it's weird to see a picture of David Beckham and Victoria Beckham, right? These massively famous people. And then James Blunt. But we always kind of think of it as like an afterthought and kind of a joke, but it just...
He's great on Twitter.
Right, and it's like, it's just weird. See, to me, it was funny just seeing these combinations of people just kind of sitting there all at this giant event.
This is the Hollywood of England. You know what I mean? And that's what the royal family, in a weird way, represents. They represent that attainability that you'll never have. It's kind of, it's just like a fairy tale world. Like all the little girls that want to be princesses.
Sure.
All fits into all this stuff.
And
And it's for real. And it's real. Like, you really can just be a regular old, Joe Schmo. The next thing you know, they're looking for your glass slipper, and then like people go, "Oh, it's a princess!" Like, what the just?
It's all it takes, man.
What just happened there? Right? It's crazy.
Yeah, and it, she'll be the first American princess.
Like, if I could, I'd be like Iron Man. That'd be cool.
Yeah, give it the choice.
Yeah, man.
I don't be royalty, man. I'd blow ass up.
I want to fly and shoot stuff out my hand.
Say cool things to people right before I mess up the day.
That was really close to another cuss there.
Yeah. Well, if you're rich enough, you could do almost anything, right? What do they have, those fantasy camps for baseball and spring training?
Yeah, right, but you got to be
so
loaded.
Like, you got to, right,
But
you got to be loaded, but you could pay to go down there and play.
They have Iron Man camp.
But you can't play to
They might have Iron Man camp.
You can't pay to do a series with the Patriots. And this is really for real. Like, they will go live in a castle.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they have a dragon and a moat and alligators that guard it.
Well, for him, it's old news. That's all he's known.
Yeah.
She's just a successful actress, making bank.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she was on Suits.
Used to work in a
Which,
yogurt
by the
shop.
way, I've never seen an episode of Suits.
Me neither.
But you watch the world wedding coverage. There's a lot of I don't know who these people are.
Oh, like the co-stars? I would have
they
no
all
idea.
invited?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. It was a funny mash of American and I don't know. I'm telling you, I got caught up in it. All right, Suits is it was a popular show. She was on there. So basically, they asked a bunch of millennials what their favorite TV show was. All right. The kind of funny thing here is they went back and they asked them, and the era that they're running here is from 1990 to 1996. Any guesses? So these are what millennials like. Now, keep in mind, millennials just under me, but we're talking like Mike's age.
I guess Seinfeld, Friends. Where are we in that zone? I don't know where we are there.
Right. So this was the favorite TV show. Right. So Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was number 1.
Okay. All right.
Which, again, that show ran from 90 to 96. So none of them would have remembered the actual run of the show.
You wouldn't remember, but I feel it's one of those shows, probably like the Cosby Show, but with less controversy around it. The idea that it's fairly timeless crap.
Yeah, we used to watch
it might
a lot.
look dated, but generally, even what you're saying, what the problem is, the issues that arose, and the jokes themselves. I think they probably stand.
We watched a lot of shows that were 20 years old at that point in time when we were.
That's all we were growing up, for
like
sure.
Bonanza, or
Yeah, I
Gomer
mean, I guess
Pyle,
I reckon,
or Beverly Hillbillies, or whatever. They were all old shows, and we were just. That was what
Because
they
you
showed.
could watch they weren't prime time. You got home from school, and your parents knew you weren't watching anything horrible if you hear the whistling
Gilligan's
of Andy
Island
Griffith.
or whatever.
Yeah, and you're right. When I first read this list, I was just like, why would they pick The Fresh Prince? Number 2 on the list was The Simpsons. By the way, I misspoke there. Fresh Prince ran from 1996. They had the choice of any shows. Jeopardy, America's Funniest Home Videos gets in there.
Surprised that Jeopardy showed up.
Yeah, but I think the period of life where I watched the most Jeopardy was probably like 20 to 25.
Sure. Still might retain enough from school to get a few right and think you know some stuff for real about the world.
And your evenings, generally, like that time of the evening was free.
Those were my General Hospital years. I had a very brief window of time where I'd come home and General Hospital was on because one of my roommates watched it all the time. And I'd sit down on the couch and we'd get high. Next thing you know, I'm into General Hospital. It was a very weird thing how this happened to me.
Yeah.
You know?
GH got a lot of people.
It was like a strange addiction.
It's a cover band of Jane's Addiction.
Yes, exactly.
Strange Addiction.
Yeah, they play ELO.
Friends, Wheel of Fortune made it on there. I never would have voted for that. Basically, it's game shows. Price is Right, SNL, House, and Family Guy.
Would not have expected. Well, Family Guy maybe. Everything else kind of surprises me.
Yeah, and I don't know. You would still, like, if I watched a lot of old shows growing up, but if you asked me back then my favorite TV show, I feel like I still would have picked one that was on.
I'd pick Sanford and Son because he gets called Big Dummy.
Right, or like I like Seinfeld and all this stuff, but Seinfeld was still on its original run when but I think it was like my junior year of high school or something. It went off the air.
But a lot of kids, like for our age demo, man, like the Brady Bunch was huge. The Brady Bunch had about as much to do with my life as
zero.
Right, absolutely nothing. But for whatever, like everybody watched.
And it was
Brady
still
Bunch.
old. It'd been on for a while.
Yeah, it already been on.
It already had its heyday, and we just had to watch it.
Sometimes, in this day and age, there's a lot of news coverage. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. Some of it can be downright depressing. So Seth Meyers has some good news for you.
The CDC has announced that romaine lettuce is safe to eat again, so I guess that's what passes for good news these days. Romaine's back.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
Right?
Okay,
like, that's good news. Like, oh man, we can eat Caesar salads again.
Let us celebrate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Trey. We appreciate it. There you go. All right, Mike's got your headlines coming up in minutes. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Teen steals a blind man's wallet pretending to be a cop, and then he gets turned in by his mom. Meanwhile, a Florida man is tasered by cops after walking with erection under a palm. Man minding his own business on porch in Hawaii loses leg from flying lava rock. 18-wheeler has enough drugs to make even authorities gawk. An Ohio man calls cops after a pig won't stop following him home. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's Mike Hawk.
All right, our top story. Police in North Carolina stopped a semi-truck carrying an alarming amount of methamphetamine in the gas tank. The tank was filled with 120 gallons of meth in liquid form that could be converted to make roughly 454 kilos of crystal meth. The truck's operator and passenger were arrested and charged with trafficking.
How much is that worth, do they say?
They did say.
I'm just curious, man, if you bring that much. Because, I mean, that's a risky thing to do. I got to think that isn't.
About $90 million worth of liquid methamphetamine.
If you told me I got to cut it now, I might be like, fill my gas tank. Let's see what happens.
I'm just, man, that truck gets into an accident.
Everybody's happy. No one knows why.
Good heavens. All right. We go to Minnesota where thousands of people gathered to break a Guinness World Record.
Oh, no. That was a ton of people they showed up.
Yes,
man.
it was. It was pretty much a literal.
Yeah, I mean, it really, I didn't know what they were doing, and I looked at the picture. I'm like, that is an impressive showing of people. I don't know how that went, if they did it. I guess they did it virally.
Led by the inventor of My Pillow, tens of thousands of people filled the stadium to break the Guinness World Record of the biggest pillow fight ever.
I feel like that one gets broken often, though.
It does.
Sure. Right?
Because any idiot can do it.
What do you sign a waiver that says if you get hit in the head with a pillow and get knocked out, you can't sue the venue? You got to clean up. I mean, there's got to be. You have to think if you're talking about an idea of getting together where you're assaulting. We all know if you throw a pickle slice at someone, they can sue you for assault.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So how do you smack someone in the head? You know what I mean? You probably have to waiver it up when you walk in.
Well, either that or you put something up to where if you accept to join in here, then you're waiving all that.
Exactly.
I don't know if you necessarily have to sign anything, but.
So if you participate, you're
right. Then you have read and agreed.
It's like the running of the bulls. If you decide to run down that street, man, that's on you.
Right, you're going to get gored. Still, I should have seen video of that. That was pretty neat. In Ohio, police received a call from a man that they thought was drunk because he was complaining that a pig wouldn't stop following him. After getting his location, police arrived on the scene of an Amtrak station and indeed found a man being followed by a pig.
And it was a cute pig. It looked like he just really wanted to hang out. Like he looked up like they have a picture of him in a police car. And he's like, dude.
That guy had no interest in the pig.
I mean, no. It just, but I know, but it'd be still weird to be being followed around by a pig.
Yeah, it'd be a little weird.
After a quick
that'd
laugh.
freak me out.
Yeah, it's just following you around. After a quick laugh, the officers loaded the pig inside their car to return it back to its owner. They also fully appreciate the irony of the situation of a pig being in a police car.
They just wanted to beat you to the punch.
That's exactly what they said.
Before you crack your jokes, we get it.
We got it first.
We got them donuts.
Back in Florida, a local school has issued an apology after some found their prom slogan to be offensive. The prom is being held at the National Constitution Center, and the school released an advertisement for the prom saying, "Party like it's 1776."
We're being too sensitive.
They have since released an apology to
You're being too sensitive, man. I mean, the principal's just like, gee, look, hey, man, I just thought, if you live in this country, 1776,
it's something.
It's something of importance to you, regardless of what was going on at the time. And then he wanted to know it's at the Constitution Center. Just small, but gotta ruin everything. Let's just ruin.
Prince had a song about partying like it's 1999.
Mm-hmm. Now, next thing you know, you're apologizing.
That was actually what they were basing it off of.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right?
I don't think they looked at the how deep can we take this meeting?
Right.
You can find something wrong with anything. It doesn't mean it was someone's intent.
Just gotta look.
Grab your colonial stuff. Wear your Hamilton outfit.
You're right.
It's also north of the Mason-Dixon line.
Ta-da!
Right, exactly. It's not like Atlanta's going to party like it was 1776. You're like,
they still do.
Yeah, right.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't change.
We go to New York, where a teenager is facing some serious charges after a pretty tacky theft. The teen posed as a police officer to get a wallet from a legally blind man on the subway under the pretense that he was helping him. He was arrested shortly afterward after he was turned into police by his mother,
who apparently wasn't she wasn't a litmus test of the law. And she was because they were they both stole together.
Okay.
But he crossed a line that she didn't want to cross. Like, she's like, I cannot believe you did that with a blind guy.
I mean, at least be like Mike. Just trip him on the bus.
That's it for your headlines with that. Mike Hawkins.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time for the Drunk and Charge. Ryan Castle in the Sit and Spin, the return of the word, profile this, and we'll drink and toast with a shot of the day.
Yes, indeed. It is all true. But in the meantime, we be all about this bitch. So until tomorrow, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.